quarterback's a leadership position. Leaders don't whine and cry about how they're being blackballed and they're not being treated fairly. That's not what leadership is. That's what being a crybaby is. And right now, Colin Kaepernick, you're just being a crybaby. All right, I kind of like to avoid talking about this topic here. Not that I don't have an opinion on it, but I find it rather annoying. It really bothers me the way Colin Kaepernick and a lot of other people see this situation. But now I just got to drop my 2 cents on this one, all right? Let's go back to the beginning. I first seen Colin Kaepernick, I saw a couple of clips of him playing in Nevada, but, he comes into the NFL, looks pretty good. He comes in to back up Alex Smith with an injury. Jim Harbaugh's the coach. They got a good system running that pistol offense. It works really well with Kaepernick. They started winning. Now, I thought personally they should go back to Alex Smith, continue to develop Kaepernick, and when the time is right, go ahead and make the switch. However, they felt the time was right then. 2012, they get Colin Kaepernick in there, and hey, he, like I said, he looks very impressive. They were beating all the best teams. It was like they beat the Packers, they beat the Patriots, I think they beat the Saints that year. Like every powerhouse team at the time, it seems like he was facing them, and Kaepernick was just lighting them up. First half, they'd figure him out, and they'd come out in the second half, and he'd light them up. And he did to the Patriots too. So he was obviously a solid quarterback, and I knew that. I was a fan of his. Now, in the Madden game, you play Madden, you know that when you have a new guy that comes out and he's really good, Madden's not going to have him ranked high enough. So I was like, I gotta create this Kaepernick player, and I gotta make him play the way he does. So I put all the arm strength and put the passing accuracy and everything the way I thought it should be just right, and there was a problem. He was too good. When I let the computer play with this guy and set up some games, he was just dominant. He was way better than even he was playing. So I was like, I can't do that. I've got to drop his awareness down. So I started dropping the awareness. 85, 80, 75, 70. And I couldn't get to enough. I had to take his awareness down to a 30. Now, a 37 awareness is just terrible. That's awful. Most players with a 37 awareness aren't even good enough to be able to be usable in the game. But that's what I had to do to make this super talented player fair to play against and somewhat realistic. No, at any rate, they end up going to the Super Bowl. He takes out lots of great competition along the way. They run into Ray Lewis, who is on the way to his second Super Bowl win with the Baltimore Ravens there. Very tight game. Came down to the very last play, and Ray Lewis, I thought, did an excellent job of making sure to stick a man on Kaepernick every snap, regardless of whether Kaepernick was throwing or running at the ball himself. Great game. I still didn't lose any respect for Kaepernick. I was like, this guy's on his way to being one of, if not the best quarterbacks in NFL history. All right. I kind of felt bad. Having his awareness at a 37. I was like, he's not really that dumb, but that's what I've got to do to make him play the game. So at any rate, a year goes by. Coach Jim Harbaugh, kind of get into it, the 49ers management. I don't know what's wrong with their management and ownership. Every time they get a good coach and get to the playoffs, it seems like they want to get rid of the guy and bring in somebody else. I don't know what it is. They control freaks probably. At any rate, Harbaugh's out. He goes to coach Michigan. Kaepernick is still there, and they bring in Tomasula, who I did not think deserved the job. Tomasula comes in, obviously not a fan of Kaepernick. Is Tomasula racist? I don't know. Maybe he is. He decides to go with Blaine Gabbert, a white quarterback who, granted, is nowhere near as talented as Colin Kaepernick. Can't throw the ball as accurately. Can't throw the ball as far. Can't run as fast. Blaine Gabbert's he's not as smart. Kaepernick's not a genius, but Blaine Gabbert's not as smart as he is either. Blaine Gabbert's just a worse quarterback in every way. And so I think Kaepernick probably felt, you know what? I'm being benched because I'm black. And this coach is racist. So I think he was a little bit angry about that, and he decided that during the national anthem, and this is when lots of protests were going on about police brutality and racial profiling by police in the country. And hey, let me tell you right now, I'm not a victim of police brutality myself. However, I have been racially profiled several times by police officers. I had police officers themselves tell me that they racially profile black and Latino males. All right. This came straight out of the mouth of more than one police officer that I spoke to when I was a police explorer as a teenager. So I got this straight from the cops, not just from the media, not from other people complaining. This came from cops themselves, and they say, yes, we racially profile people. So I know it's true. All right. At any rate, Colin Kaepernick decides that he's not going to get up for the national anthem. He called it a protest. I don't think it was a protest. I think he's pissed off because he got benched. All right. That's what makes sense. If you're going to do a protest, you say what you're protesting. You make a big deal about it, and then you protest. You don't just go out and do something and say, oh, yeah, by the way, I'm protesting something. If you're going to protest something, you make an announcement. You have a sign or something. Everybody knows what you're protesting for. You don't just do something out of the ordinary, and then after you get caught doing it, then you say, oh, well, it was a protest. And that's what Kaepernick did. He did not call it a protest at first. He just sat down on the bench and didn't get up for the national anthem. Then later on the press conference, he's asked about it, and then he says it's a protest. It wasn't a kneel, all right? He didn't start kneeling until he had a friend of his who's a veteran that said, hey, man, sitting on your butt like there is pretty disrespectful. So at least if you get up and show that you're reverencing the national anthem and kneel, and it'll be a little bit more respectful and you can say what you're doing it for. This guy came up with the idea. This was not Colin Kaepernick, all right? Colin Kaepernick was just mad, in my opinion. He's mad because he's benched. I would have been mad if I was benched for Blaine Gabbert, if I were Colin Kaepernick, because he's not as good of a quarterback as I am. So, Colin Kaepernick goes on to continue the protest, makes a lot of people angry, a lot of veterans angry, a lot of fans angry, and he says it's all to bring awareness to police discrimination and police brutality in the black community. All right, he's conflating two separate issues. Okay, kneeling during the national anthem has nothing to do with protesting police brutality. The federal government does not control the police. They're simply an entity that they take an oath to uphold the Constitution, which if they do that, they're in violation of the Constitution, which means you need to get yourself a lawyer or file a lawsuit. There's lots of better ways to fight situations like this than a guy like Colin Kaepernick, who's a millionaire, who could put a lot of money into this. He could pay for some lawyers, he could pay for some attorneys, he could get some exposure into the situation, but no. He decides the best way to fight against discrimination is to get on his knees, all right? He, at the time, still had a contract with a guaranteed $20 million with the 49ers, okay? He could have stayed on the team. He could have collected that $20 million, and guess what? Thomas Sula got fired, all right? Who they ended up bringing in? Shanahan, all right? He likes good quarterbacks like that. However, doesn't matter. Kaepernick's gone. He said, I don't need your $20 million. Keep it. I'm going to go out because I'm so great that I can get signed by another team. But guess what? He didn't get signed by another team. Why? Because he's protesting the national anthem, and that makes people mad. Guess what? The fans play for football. If the fans are not going to spend money on this product because they don't like what's going on, then they lose the money, and they can't have that happening. Because guess what? There's not going to be any money to pay any of the players if you make all the fans mad. But Colin Kaepernick, that's the first time he should. Maybe he's just not that smart. He just doesn't get it. Just shut up and play football and then use those millions of dollars to fight whatever injustices that you see in the world. Because it's a hell of a lot easier to fight when you got $20 million than when you ain't got nothing, all right? But anyway, he doesn't seem to get it that way. He files a lawsuit against the league that says that they're blackballing and won't let him back in the league. Another dumb thing. If you file a lawsuit, what makes you think they're going to want you back now? Now you're suing them. They're definitely not going to bring you back in the league. That's another piece of stupid decision, and that's what I'm thinking. And the point of this video is that he must not be coming up with this. This is so stupid. I don't think he is. Maybe he's not very bright as to come up with his own decisions, but these decisions must be coming from his agent and or his friends and family, all right, who obviously are not concerned about his ability to earn his living doing what he knows how to do, what he's good at doing, and then being able to take the money he does from that and be able to apply it to the things he wants to apply it to. All right, so he didn't have anything to fight against police brutality back before. Didn't seem like it was that big of a deal then, only after he got benched. So whatever, all right. He's suing the league now. He doesn't have the $20 million from the 49ers now, saying they're blackballing him. All right, this drags on a year and a half or so. So finally the NFL's like, look, we don't want to go to court. Because if we go to court, you get to do discovery. And then we have to turn over all kind of emails back and forth to each other to prove that we are in cahoots to keep you out of the league. I don't think anybody anybody with a brain believes that all 32 teams decided they didn't want this guy in there. They don't understand the way the NFL works, I don't think. They maybe think Roger Goodell makes all the decisions. No, the decisions are made by the 32 owners. And all 32 owners would have to agree that we want to blackball this guy, and they would have to openly communicate that. All right, and there would be evidence of that, and somebody would have leaked that already. That didn't happen, all right? There's certain owners that wanted him, certain ones didn't. Certain ones wanted him to play for the organization so they could win football games, but then they didn't want to bring him in because they don't want to lose fans, because if you lose money, you can't pay the bills, and you ain't going to win if you can't pay the bills, all right? That makes sense. He didn't think this through, obviously. But at any rate, I believe, as I said, his agent got involved, and his agent is the one that decided this is the best way to go. We're going to sue the league so he can continue to get paid. All right. Now the NFL settles. All right, they don't want to go to court. They don't want to do discovery, so fine. Now a little bit of the dust is settled. He's still saying he wants to come out. He's working out, talking about he's ready to go. Now, granted, there's a few teams that could use him right now, especially the Bengals, which is where I thought he was going to end up to begin with. They could have used him back when Andy Dalton was there, but now they've benched Andy Dalton. They don't know what they're doing. All right, the Bengals, I think, could use him. I think there's a couple other teams. Steelers could possibly use him as a backup. Maybe go to the Ravens as a backup. There's a lot of places that he could go and play as either a starter or a backup. Miami. And I said, the list goes on. But at any rate, he wants to make this all about him. Now, they have this workout. The league schedules this workout. Once again, they're treating him like a child. League doesn't do workouts. The only workout that the league does is the combine. If they want to do workouts, a team wants to work a player out, then the team brings him in. Nobody wants to do that. Why? Because it's a publicity thing. You brought in Kaepernick, you might sign him, we might lose fans, it might cause a controversy, blah, 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 because he wants to be controversial. All right. So they decide to have this special workout where he's just going to work out and a plethora of teams can show up. All right, it goes from being maybe 2-3 teams want him, and then maybe 4 or 5 interested, and then it got up to the point where there's 25 teams. There's 32 teams in the league. 25 teams are interested in seeing you work out. So what does Colin Kaepernick do? An hour and a half before the workout starts, he decides, no, I'm not going to show up. I don't want to show up to your venue because, once again, he doesn't want to play ball. He doesn't want to sign the NFL's contract that says that if you get hurt during this workout, you can't sue us. They want him to sign paperwork giving up some of the things from the lawsuit that he tries to accuse them of. All right, I can't really get into the details. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know all the details of it. But at any rate, this is your chance to get back in the league, man. All right, it's not a public forum. You don't have the right to play in the NFL. It's a privilege. They don't have to let you play. It's got nothing to do with what you've done before. They don't have to let you play. But he decides he's not going to show up to the NFL workout now. An hour and a half before it's supposed to start. 25 teams have sent scouts down here, player personnel people to come and check him out. And then he's not going to show up. He's going to move it to a place that's an hour away from the original place. So these guys are already there, set up, scouts, camera crew, ready to film Colin Kaepernick, and he decides to move it an hour away. So guess what? All those people don't show up now. He's got, from what I heard, about 5 people, 5 teams there to look at him. They're rushed over there to look at him. And he's saying all kind of stupid things like, oh, I can't wait to meet with the owners and meet with the general managers and the head coach. Hey, stupid, it's Saturday. Head coaches are going to be coaching football tomorrow. They don't have time to go look at you, all right? General managers, no. They're not going to fly down to look at Colin Kaepernick. That's what you send scouts to do. And if the GM's coming down there, He's coming down there because he's definitely going to sign you. So that's not going to happen just because you go and do a workout. They get the scouting information, they send it back, and somebody decides whether they want to make a decision. Colin Kaepernick, he thinks he's special. He thinks that owners and GMs are going to show up to see him. He's not that special. There's lots of quarterbacks. There's quarterbacks that won the Super Bowl. Trent Dilfer won the Super Bowl, and they got rid of him. The very next year, they didn't even let him come back. And he won the Super Bowl. He's not that special, but he thinks he is. I don't know where he gets this entitlement from. I think some of it's his agent. And then I heard reports on NFL radio, they're talking about guy tried to have a conversation with him, and he wouldn't even answer his own questions. His girlfriend answered the questions for him. Hey, buddy, if that's what's going on with you, you need to fire your agent, get a new agent, fire your girlfriend, get a new girlfriend, and you probably need to fire some of your friends that are giving you all this terrible advice. You're very talented. You have great opportunity. You're still not too old to play in the NFL and be productive and be successful. Why do you keep wanting to blow it up? Because you want to keep acting like a spoiled little brat. Nobody cares about coddling you, man. You're just a person. You're just a player, and there's hundreds, thousands of football players out there. Lots of them that would love this opportunity to work their tails off and get a starting job in the NFL. And then there's reports, people complaining about how you shouldn't get the league minimum. Yeah, you should get league minimum because you sued the damn league. If you sued me, I'm certainly not going to be friends with you anymore. Why in the world does he think that's a good idea? Why does he think that all this whole thing is going to work? I don't know. He's completely banking on his talent. But I think 100% he is getting horrible advice. Terrible advice. And now he's in a situation where instead of having 25 teams look at him, it's probably only going to be 5 or 6. And then because once again, Colin Kaepernick gave the league the finger and then says, yeah, even though I'm going to give you the finger and not do what you want to do and not work together in a binding contract, I'm going to put it out there. And then if you don't sign me, I'm going to go to the media and I'm going to complain about it. And guess what, man? That's not what someone wants on their team. Quarterback's a leadership position. Leaders don't whine and cry about how they're being blackballed and they're not being treated fairly. That's not what leadership is. That's what being a crybaby is. And right now, Colin Kaepernick, you're just being a crybaby. You need to stop being a crybaby and just go play football. Or not, all right? But I'm getting sick of hearing this whole stupid thing, and everybody wants to bring it up into race. It has nothing to do with race, okay? The NFL has been integrated for decades now. The NFL has done a whole lot more to integrate and to fight against racism than it did to establish it and keep it going. Anybody that thinks that the NFL is racist, just you need to get your head out of your ass. This 2019. Is everything perfect? Is everyone treated fairly? Of course not. That doesn't happen anywhere on the planet. So just give that stupid crap up. It's got nothing to do with racism. It's got to do with Colin Kaepernick acting like a spoiled little brat and then making dumb decisions for whatever the benefit, whether it's for his girlfriend or for his agent or for his friends. He just needs to shut up and play football or shut up and go away because I'm really sick of hearing about it.